We're back. We're back. We're back. Welcome to the newest episode of Generations of the Game podcast. I'm your host, JP. And of course, besides me is the co pilot who right now is flying high. When I say flying high, I mean flying high. Of course, my co pilot here, Will Lyons. What's up, champion? How you doing, bruh?
Hey, I'm doing great, brother. It's not every day. You know what I'm saying? You wake up, still tasting champagne. You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother. Yeah, congratulations, man. And the only two OKC fans I know is you and the other guy that's in one of the sports group I named Leaf Erickson. Y'all the only two that I know that are real OKC fans. If you ain't them and you ain't from OKC, you on the bandwagon. If you ain't these two, but man, congrats again. And by the way, let's jump right into the NBA Finals, man. OKC Thunder beat the Indiana Pacers 4-3 in the NBA Finals. Um, Great series, man. People talk about they're small market teams, man. I don't get caught up in that. Basketball is basketball, bro. Now we ain't getting paid for that. We ain't the advertisers. So to me, it was a great series, man. But let's talk about the series and who made the big difference in the series. Will, we're gonna start with you since this is your squad that we're talking about.
I mean, first of all, man, it was a great series. Just two teams that anybody at any given time can make a play on offense or defense. A lot of ball movement. Up and down. It was great for the game. It wasn't about logos on jerseys. Or any of that. Um, but as far as difference makers, um, I'll start out with for the Pacers. For the Pacers, TJ McConnell and Obi Toppin, major difference makers. When they were playing well, the Pacers looked like a totally different team. At times, and obviously this is like, some exaggeration, but bro, McConnell was out there damn near looking like Allen Iverson, bro. Like they could not stay in front of him, bro. He was cooking everybody, like everybody, all NBA defenders. He out there cooking them, you know. Um, and if he just walked in an open gym, nobody would be like, unless you really are into the back to the league, you're not gonna be like, oh man, that's NBA player TJ McConnell. You gonna think he's just another guy, you know what I'm saying? But TJ was hooping, heart of a warrior. Obi, he probably had the best shooting stretch of his life, in his playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then for OKC, of course we know the mainstays, but I gotta give it to Caruso, man. Like the defense he played, and he just hit
Yeah.
really, really timely shots. It was almost like whenever we needed them, you know. It just it was crazy, man. Of course, he's been there before, but man, like you would think this dude is like, a 15-year vet, you know what I mean? Like kind of, in his fourth NBA finals appearance or something like that. He was always composed, he was always there to hustle, make a defensive play, and he hit a lot of timely threes, for somebody who when they came in the league really was not even, remotely known for that.
Yeah, bro. I really thought that I really thought that the offseason when you got Hartenstein and Caruso, I thought that was gonna make they definitely made your team a little more tougher and better. And I think those signings were very key to what you all were doing. Um Man, what can you say? What can you say about SGA, man? I mean, what can you say, man? I mean, this guy
Smooth,
had
bro.
huh?
I said he just smooth, man.
Smooth, man. Smooth. Smooth operator like Sade, man. Like Sade said, he's a smooth operator. Man, look. SGA, man. Well, you know what? I normally don't say this like this, but some people probably want to disagree with me when I say this. His game reminds me a little bit of Kobe. Like he has a little bit of Kobe likeness to his game. I mean, what do you think about that, bro?
No, I feel like I get it. The way he gets to his spots, especially in the mid range. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
you can't really force him out of anything. Like he's getting to whatever shot he wants to get.
Yeah, man, and I mean, and he's just so efficient for where he shoots at, bruh. I mean, he had one of the best seasons we've seen from an NBA player. He won the scoring title, won the league MVP, won the playoff MVP, and then he also won the world title, bruh.
Yep.
I mean, he had a serious run. And let's talk about Jalen Williams too, bro. I remember before the playoffs started, Stephen A. Smith sat up there and said, "I don't know if he's a second option or not." And now all of a sudden, oh, Jaden Williams, yeah. How you like him now? How do you like him now? He's a bona fide second option. Not only is he a bona fide second option, I think if he was on another team, he could be the number one option. Will, let's talk about his play during this series, man, because he played phenomenal.
I mean, J Dub, he had a hell of a season. All NBA, all defense, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like once he kind of realized that they couldn't stop him from getting to the basket, it was almost like it was over, man. Like, he was, getting by pretty much anybody they put on him. And, you know, not quite to the level of Shea, but he also was very crafty at getting to his mid range pull up as well, and the confidence, it was like once it clicked in his mind and he saw like, yo, they really can't stay in front of me. He just kept going to the bucket. That 40 pointer. Once he had that game, it was like it was over for. And the other thing I love about J Dub's game, of course, the defensive versatility. You put him on a 4-man, 3-2, the point. Whoever, if you need to stop you, if you have to, Caruso, Dort, Wallace aren't out there, he can get a stop. And then like his playmaking, like you see that he was able to free up Shea so Shea could play off the ball, and that was a key for us too. Shea could come off the ball, come off a screen, do whatever he needed to do to try to get the ball and then go to work because they were trying to trap him every time he got the ball. But J Dub is so versatile. He could create for other players. He could bring it down. He can score whatever you need him to do, man. Like I'm not comparing him as a player, but he definitely excelled in like that Pippen role for OKC.
Did you hear what Scottie Pippen said about him? Scottie Pippen said he thinks he could be better than him.
Hmm. I
That's
mean,
what Scottie Pippen said. Scottie Pippen said he thinks Jaden Williams could be better than him, man. Let me tell you something, man. I think Jaden Williams is a better scorer than Scottie Pippen. I think he's a little bit. Although Pippen can score, people don't understand that. Pippen can score, could score. He give you. He was a bona fide 20-point scorer in the NBA. But Jaden Williams, man, easy 20-25 a night, man. Like you said, great defender, could guard any like three positions, maybe even four at times, man. Also, let's talk about Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren had a couple big games in here too, and he showed a lot in that last game. 5 block shots. What was it, 18 to 12? I think he had. He's
yep.
coming around, man. Once Chet gets into where he needs to be, bro. I mean, you all got 3 bona fide stars. I mean, to my opinion, franchise level. Well, we know one's franchise level. The other two definitely could be franchise level players if they were on different teams, man. What did you think about Chet's play in the series?
Chet Chet showed me a lot, man. You know, Chet's ability to just keep playing, and he's still slight of frame, and he hits
Yeah.
the floor a lot. And there's moments where you think he's hurt, but he
Mm-hmm.
always gets
Mm-hmm.
up, he keeps playing, and in a hypothetical, because I know they're going to improve. You know, if Chet never got any better than what he is today, he like if he plays enough games, he's already an all NBA caliber defender. You
Yeah.
know, in my opinion, from what I've seen right now in the league, he's probably second only behind Victor, you know, as far as like being just a natural shot blocker, you
Oh
know.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and that's saying a lot, you know. So he continues like his frame is more KD like. So I don't expect him to ever be so big, you know, but he continues to get stronger. And he does, and it allows him to play a little more physical and withstand the way they want to try to guard him. I mean,
Hmm.
Chet is such a mismatch, you know, like I don't even know. Like I feel like I can envision it, but like I don't think I can I couldn't fairly give it a comparison, if that makes sense. You know what he can really look like.
Look. Chet Holmgren is really a 2010 4 to 5 block shot guy. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That's what you're looking at. I think down the line, 2010 4 or 5. Um, Um, Also, maybe 4 or 5 assists a night. That's what you're looking at. Good passer out of the post, could rebound, block shots. Like you said, he's slight of frame, but he has a chance to be a great player, man. You know. But let's go on to the Indiana Pacers, man. Let's particularly talk about Tyrese Halliburton because Game 7, Will, he was cooking, bruh. The first 7 8 minutes of that game, he was cooking. It's a shame, what happened to him, man, and him getting injured because who knows how that game would have gone if he was there. It definitely would have been a closer game down the stretch. But man, of course, we want to give a shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, man. Hopefully he comes back to the way he used to be. He should. He's only 25, man. But you hate to see these type of injuries take place, bro.
For sure, man. You know, as much as you want to see your team win, you know, it was heartbreaking, man, to see him go down like that. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
first and foremost, you know, just caring about him as a player, you know, as a human. You know, he worked for this moment his whole life. You know, Game 7, NBA Finals. He's starting off hot. You know, it looks like it's gonna be an all-time game. And he goes down like that. That's brutal, man. And it's even worse because it's a situation where he could have technically said I'm not going to play, but the competitor in him, if he's like, if this gives my team a better chance to win, I will do whatever I can, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't knock him. I feel like anybody in that position for the most part would have done the same thing. If they care about the game, and their teammates the way that they do. So it was rough, man. Like, bro, he was shooting the cover off that ball, hitting 30 footers. And I'm gonna be real, bro. I said, oh man, it's gonna be a long night. You know what I mean? This might not be a celebration, but and it
Man, he
just
was. I mean, he was shooting some. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, bro, he was taking them 30, 35 feet out jumpers, bro. I mean, we trained one of them was at back to back. I'm like, somebody's heating up tonight.
Bro, he was shooting that shit from the parking lot.
Yeah, he was.
You
Yeah, he
know,
was. He's definitely the straw that stirs the drink for Indiana. And anybody that tells you differently, they crazy. People talk about, oh, he's not a superstar. He is a superstar. What are you talking about? What do we call a superstar? He dictates the pace of the game. He makes players around him better. He uplifts the team. He's a leader. I mean, that's what star players do.
so what I would say is that I absolutely believe that he's a star. I think that the run he had in this playoffs could be what moves him up to that next tier. But I believe
Mm-hmm.
before this, he was just a star. I on a personal level, I feel like not of course, just not everybody is a superstar, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But he is an amazing player, man, and he absolutely because the way he plays, pass first guy, competes. He could be out there, 12 assists, no turnovers. You know, he might have 8 points, he might have 30 points. But if it's a close game, he wants that ball, he wants that
He wants
moment.
the ball. His impact will be felt on the game, whether he scores, like you said, 8 to 30, eight or 30. His impact will be felt. I don't understand how we don't consider a player superstars because a star because he might not get 15, 16. Might not get 25, 30, 35, 40 points. Magic Johnson was a pass first player too. People forget that. People forget Magic was an 18, 19, 20-point scorer basically his first 8, 9 years in the league. But then career 87, you saw Magic with the 24, 12, and 9 season, basically. One of the best seasons we ever seen. He could score, but his thing was making his teammates better. Magic made Vlade Divac into an all-star, bro. He made AC Green into an all-star. He made those players around him better. And that's what Halliburton has done too with Indiana.
No, I agree wholeheartedly, bro. And I think it really is just a shift of the game. People are
Mm-hmm.
so used to, their I won't even say they're a point guard because everybody's not a point guard. Just because you bring the ball down, you're not necessarily a point guard.
Right.
But they're used to guards shooting 20, 25 times a night, whether it's efficient or not. Like in this day and age, they think a guard having 6 assists is like a big time playmaker, you
Nah,
know, and we know that that's decent if you
it's
know
good.
if you're a score first player, that means okay, you still look for your teammates, but in reality, we've seen it. It's not necessarily the norm, but we know that there's been guys in the history of the game. Of course, you name Magic, at his peak, you know, but he's a totally different thing. But I'll go guys that won't even sniff the Hall of Fame. As an example, a Baron Davis at his peak is giving you 20, probably 8 or 9 assists, two and a half steals a night, and like 4 or 5 boards. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like that's like the type of well-roundedness I feel like we're used to, and now it's a lot of like almost hollow numbers at times with certain players. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, oh man, this guy, he puts this up, he got this, he got that. Okay, but what's his team's record? You know what I mean? Like, and then you watch these guys, and sometimes some of these players they got wide open teammates and they won't pass them the ball, but you're supposed to be a point guard.
You're right. As a matter of fact, the last guard to lead the league in points and assists was Tiny Archibald back in '73. He averaged 34 and 11.
bro, all timer,
That's crazy. 34 and 11 he gave you 1 year, man. That's crazy. I think
bro.
I felt as though Steph could have probably gave you that type of numbers too, though. If he wanted to. He could have gave you 30 and 11.
I
Something like
mean,
that.
bro, he what? Listen, he the way he scored, and he could play make at a high clip, man. At his peak, I feel like if the team was set up differently, it's possible. Because I feel like so much was set up around him moving off ball to maximize his shooting.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, bro, I would have loved to see him in a traditional offense.
Yeah, for him shooting the way he does, it'd be. I think Trey Young could maybe one day. He's close enough. He might give you 30 and 10 one day.
Bro, Trey is damn near giving you that now. I'm about to pull his numbers up real quick because
Yeah, he is. He's giving you like 27 and what, 10 and 9?
yep, something like that. Let me see. All right, so this year he was 24 and just under 12 assists.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. He's a small guard. He got to get his efficiency up a little bit, but we know, he's on a struggling team, so he's taking a lot of tough shots. But to take
Yeah.
to take a lot of tough shots and still have damn near 12 assists a night is insane, though.
It is, man. And man, I lost my train of thought for a second. I think the next guard I think that could possibly do this is probably Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham, I think, will give you 25 and maybe 10, 11 assists a night and 8, 9 rebounds. I can see him doing that for you.
Yeah, Cade is right there, bro. Like the leap he took
Cade's
this
right
year,
there.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's his numbers next season.
It won't surprise me if he gives you 30 and 10, 30, 10 and 8 or something like that. It won't surprise me, man. That's how good Cade Cunningham is, bro.
I would say the only reason he won't is if the players around him improve. So it's like his numbers maybe don't go up but so much, but the efficiency goes up. That's the only way we don't see that.
Right. Right. Exactly, man. Speaking of Atlanta Hawks, today was a three-way trade, Will, huh?
Yeah, bro. I still don't know what to think, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Porzingis to the Hawks.
Man. I guess Atlanta did get better. They got a big man, but it's like,
Well, they still got Capella and Onyeka Onwanku, or however you say his last name.
yeah.
Somebody must be out the mix, to be honest with you. I think they probably
Somebody's
put.
gonna be out the mix.
But
That's
Porzingis on paper is a great fit with Trey because he can shoot.
the pick and pop too. That's another thing too. That
Yep.
it's going to be good. And that's if Porzingis can stay healthy.
Yeah, big if there, but if he
If
can, yeah.
if that's a big if. And also, Drew Holiday got traded for Anthony Simons. What do you think about that trade?
So it makes sense from the business side. You know, Anthony Simons is a really talented player, like a
Yeah.
really talented player. He's a microwave scorer, that just played on a bad team. Now, the thing for Boston is they do lose championship pedigree and a guy that, was known for his defense. But, Drew's getting older. I think he's like 36 or 37, something
Yeah.
like that. He's not defending at the clip he was, 2-3 years ago.
No.
And with Tatum going down, everything changed for Boston. They can't afford to pay, the tax the way that they were going to have to pay it, with no chance at going to the championship next year. It just didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not done. Like we see they got rid of Porzingis, but bro,
Oh,
listen, I don't think anybody but Jason Tatum is safe on that roster.
there's no doubt about that, bro. I think, yeah, man, it won't surprise me if they try to move Jalen Brown next because they getting rid of some of that cap space, bro. And I think they're looking to build for the future.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens.
Yo, you know what? Real quick, you know who I
What's up?
think would be an interesting team to try to go after Jalen?
Who?
The Spurs were one of the teams in the talks for KD, but they didn't want to give up young assets for a guy that's almost 40. Jalen Brown's not close to 40.
Ooh. If Jalen Brown goes to San Antonio with what they got, look out.
Mm-hmm.
I
Like
still
if you give up, so was it Sohan and maybe a pick or two and throw somebody else in there, but you keep Castle, man.
yeah. I wouldn't put Castle in no deal.
Nope, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't put him in no deal. That kid has got so much potential, man, to be very good.
I'll
I
be
wouldn't
honest. The
put
only deal I would put Castle in is if I could get Giannis, but that's the only one right now. Because the Twin Towers of Giannis and Wemby, that's some NBA 2K shit, bro.
that would be NBA 2K. Now, how would they stack up with OKC?
Hey man, listen, we don't have nothing for that, bro. Like the Wemby and Giannis. Now everybody else they roll out there, yeah, sure, we can figure that out.
You got
But
something for them.
yeah, I mean that's a mismatch. No team in the league has something for if you roll out Wemby and Giannis, for 82 games.
Bro, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. It
Mhm.
would be unbelievable. But
Absolutely.
also, let's go to a team that some people think could be a threat to your team, bruh. The Houston Rockets with Kevin Durant. How do you see KD in Houston? And also they only give it what Jalen Green the 10th pick and
Jalen
four,
Green, Dylan Brooks in the 10th pick. Yep. And
yeah,
four, I think four second
second
round.
round picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they made off pretty good if you ask me. Houston did. They got a bona fide bucket getter in the last couple minutes of the game. You know that could actually score some points for you. How do you see Houston stack it up next year out west?
If everybody's healthy and Houston's in a really good spot, man. You know, they didn't really have a closer. And now they have that in KD. If he's healthy, we know what he can do. They
Yeah.
have, you know, look, they have a bona fide monster in Alperen Sengun, can
Mm-hmm.
score, rebound, pass it. I'm not gonna compare him to anybody, but he is a tough player. And the thing I love most about the trade,
Mm-hmm.
some people are like, "Oh, you gave up Jalen Green." I think Jalen Green is gonna be a good player, but he's very inconsistent right now. And you bring in a certified Hall of Famer, and you keep um, Amen Thompson, who has shown flashes. If
Mm-hmm.
if his jumper comes along even a little bit,
Oh,
he he will
all
be one
star.
of the best perimeter players in the league for the next 15 years.
But
Already he's an all-world defender and athlete.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, they
And
kept
I
Tari.
oh, I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
brother.
No, no, no. Go ahead, brother.
They kept Tari Eason, another nightmare defender on the wing. So they kept youth, they kept defense. Um, and they inserted an efficient 25, 26 point, scorer. They
Mm-hmm.
they can re-sign Van Fleet, Van Fleet, and they're good. And they also, by with the moves they made, they should have opened up some minutes for Reed Shepard to get some more time and develop, but also play
Yeah,
some meaningful minutes. And for what's his name from Maryland? Cam Whitmore
Cam
as
Whitman.
well.
Bro, you don't know how bad I still want him in Philly, bro. You don't
Mhm.
know how bad I want him in Philly, bro. I mean, man, I think Cam Whitmore got all star potential.
Yeah, he's a monster, bro.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is, man. Um, let's move on, good brother, to next. I meant to next week, tomorrow. You know what it is for me, Will. You know what it is for me. I don't. I'm anxious to see who the Sixers take tomorrow, but I also know the history of this franchise. It won't surprise me if it's somebody that we never heard of too. This is what they or even trade back. This is what we do. But tomorrow, man, big day for the Sixers. I know he didn't want to work out with him. I'm still kind of big on Ace Bailey. They said he's protect. They said he might not be ready in the beginning, but we'll see, man. If we don't get Ace Bailey, I got two other players on my radar. Of course, I would want if we could find a way to number two pick from the Spurs. I'm taking Dylan Harper. I mean, that's a no brainer right there. Um, VJ Edgecombe, I just need to see him improve his shooting. If he gets
Yeah,
that jumper down, you're looking at a special. I think looking at another Dwayne Wade. I think you're looking at another Dwayne Wade. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I those are the three, and there's another player on my radar too, and that's the kid from Texas,
Trey
Johnson.
Johnson. Yeah,
Yeah, if he shoots the way they said he is, that'll be a good. But with the top three, I'm good with the top three though, man. What do you see for this draft tomorrow night?
I think this is gonna be a better draft than people maybe even thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the top. three picks, really you can't go wrong, man. We know what Cooper can do. Dylan, for in my opinion, like I think Dylan is the best player, to me. Um and then I still have Ace at three,
Yeah,
personally.
yeah,
I'm not looking at what they're talking about, questioning his character and all of that. I'm just looking at ability plus upside, and I think Ace can be something special for sure. Um, VJ, I think VJ really high potential too, but I think he's
mm-hmm,
like just like a tad under those guys. And I think Trey Johnson is in that tier as well. But
mm-hmm.
it's some really intriguing prospects in this draft, bro. Like a guy I know you're very familiar with, really rose over the last year or so. Small school St. Joe's, Rasheer Fleming out of Camden.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
you know, at the time, you know, he was, he was a force for sure, in high school, but of course the bright lights was on DJ, and deservingly so. But you look at what Sheer has done, just continue to work, and what he's turned himself into. I'll be honest with you, brother. I sincerely hope he's there at 15 for OKC. I
yeah.
hope.
Okay, she's actually trying to move in the top 10.
hmm Listen,
They
even in
trying.
the top 10, bro, I want them to take him. I want OKC to get him because he fits everything that they do. He can step out and shoot. He can be
Shoot
a
the
force
mid range.
basket. Yep, he can block shots. He can rebound. He's an athlete. You
Yep.
know, he's probably one of the most slept on players in the draft, in my opinion.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And we got to remember when he was at Camden High, he came off the bench.
Yep.
He came
Yep.
off the bench. And look, you saw the flashes when he was at Camden High, man. You saw how good he was. Like the potential was there, man. I mean, that team was stacked that year, though. That
Mhm.
team was stacked with him and Bradshaw, man. I mean, man, they had a
Yeah.
6'11" and a 7'2" kid, man. That,
Yeah.
that was
Bro, they
crazy.
had size all around. The Seer Haskins, like,
He's 6'7". Yeah, yeah,
yep.
that was a big. That might have been. Camden's had so many big teams over the years, though, man. But that might have been the biggest team they ever had. Because I mean, they
Mhm.
had a 6'11" and a 7'2" guy. So
Yep.
I mean, man, that team was huge, man. And that was a very and look, they did win the state championship. They didn't win the tournament champions, but I would say that's definitely one of the best teams they ever had come out of that school, man. They've had, and then you talking about, I ain't getting on it. We ain't talking about Cam High basketball, but we talk about Fleming, man. They that's definitely one of the top. I don't rank the teams like that. They had so many great teams, but they definitely a top 10 team in Camden history. I think they were, man. That was and probably the best team in South Jersey we've seen in about 20 years or so.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there, bro. That team was ridiculous.
It
Like,
was they had like about seven. Look at all
yep.
the players you had that went D1. Boog
Medley.
Robinson went D1.
Yep.
Deshaun Haskins went D1. Who
Yep.
who was it? We talked about Fleming. He went D1.
Yep. Medley.
Uh, Medley went D1. DJ's D1. What you would call it? We talked about Bradshaw. What's that, 7 right there? Is that 6 or
Yep.
7?
Yeah. hmm
Team was loaded, man.
Yep. And what was
That
it? The year before that when they had Woodley, that he went D1 too.
yeah. Woodley was tough, man.
hmm
If they didn't have COVID, then they were going to win the tournament of champions. They might have been going undefeated that year
hmm
because they were 15-0. Nobody was going to beat them. Nobody was going to beat them years, man.
No,
20,
not at all.
20 and 21. They were the best. They were clearly the best team in the state. Clearly.
hmm
But yeah, that was a great era for Camden High basketball. Hopefully they continue it. We'll see what happens. They lost their coach and a couple players. We'll see what happens this year. But anyway, back on topic. Tomorrow's a big night for a lot of teams, man. Look, y'all get the top 10, man. Look, y'all just won a title, bro. You got 14 first-round picks. What do y'all need to be the top 10 for?
The crazy thing, we have a player that nobody's seen play in an NBA jersey yet that was in the mock drafts, thought to be a possible top 5 pick. And was it Nikola Topic?
I
And
heard.
he's coming back this season. And then
What
wherever,
happened? Was he injured?
yeah, he had an injury, man. I forget what it was, but I think that's what ended up dropping his stock to where it did. Teams found out about the physical, and he just kind of dropped from there. They knew he wasn't going to play at all last season.
What pick did you take? I remember the names. What
I
pick did
want
you
to
take?
say I want to say 12, but let me just
That's what
verify.
I thought. 12. That's what I thought. He was a lottery pick,
Yep, even with the injury.
even with the injury.
Yeah, he had a partially torn ACL.
Okay, that's the one. He's the one that could leap too, right?
He was like a playmaker. I don't really recall him jumping like that, but he's like a big point guard. Um, yeah, he is a 6'6" point guard from
Yeah,
Serbia.
yeah, yeah. I remember him now. I
Yep.
remember him. So he could be starting soon.
I mean, I don't know if he's gonna start, bro, with what they got, but he'll be back to
Yeah,
play.
it's gonna be hard.
Listen, and that's gonna be a hell of a you know, he could be the playmaker we need though with that second unit.
Yeah, I think you need a. I think you might need a little more shooting, but I think you got Isaiah Joe. I think Isaiah Joe is the shooter.
Yeah, if Joe and Wiggins are consistent, but listen, I'll never complain about adding more shooting.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely won't complain about that. You see somebody coming in and knock down those threes when they come in off the bench or whatever. Um. Also, Will, I guess that basically covers the basketball we did for the night, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, our last three topics are going to be about the about music. You know me. This is Black Music Month, and we're going to cover this. We'll cover the lighter stuff. You know what? Let's cover the heavy stuff first, bruh. Um, Lost two icons. Guess it was about a week or two ago, man. We're gonna start off with the first one first. We lost Ananda Lewis, man. Former host of Teen Summit, former VJ on MTV. Shocking, man. Died at the age of 52, which is young. She had breast cancer, and she was doing the natural thing. Didn't want chemo and stuff, man. It's that's tough, man. Her son graduated middle school the same day. That's tough, bro. What do you think about the death of great? You could tell, great person. She had a great personality, beautiful woman. Let's get that straight right there. Nada Lewis was bad. Let's get that straight too. But that's a huge loss for the entertainment industry, man. She always seemed to have a pleasant vibe about her. So, what did you think about the us losing Alonda Lewis, man? Such a beautiful soul, it seemed like.
I mean, you hit on the head, bro. It's a loss of an icon. As far as like as far as I can think back, she's probably one of, if not the first, like it girl. You know,
For your generation, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, like that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. As far back as I can think, yeah, like she was like the first it girl. And she you just of course she was a beautiful woman, but she seemed like such a light-hearted soul, and she accomplished so much, and she was fly too. Like when you think back,
yeah,
she was really good friends with Aaliyah. She was around so many artists, and this is back when they like they really could dress, and she was never caught slipping, so she just has such an impact. I feel like you know the 106 in Parks and a lot of the things that we ended up having, like pioneers like Ananda Lewis kind
yeah,
of set the foundation to show that people would tune in and want to watch black hosts. You know what I mean? So definitely, man, it's a major loss.
It was a major loss. And she carried herself well. I didn't know she was in the Shy video back in the day, man. When she was actually a senior year at Howard University. Man, yo, she was looking good in that video too. Like back then, man. They showed her and stuff, man. I didn't know she was leading that video. But yeah, man, it's a huge loss. I'm not going to tell my friend's name, one of my friend's names, but he was in he was in the DC area back then, and he said he met her at the club one time. She was in the club that he was in. He actually had a conversation with her, and he said they danced and stuff. He said she was real cool, had a cool vibe and stuff. I forgot. It was so long ago. He told me this story. He told me the story that he said something to her and made her smile, and they talked and everything, and they danced with each other and stuff. But he was just saying how cool she was. You know what I mean? She's on TV back then. He was just saying how cool she was. Stuff like she had a real good, cool personality. And that's rare. When you see that, and the thing about it is, man, that makes me sad is just seeing that one video of her and Aaliyah, and it's like, goodness gracious, it's like they both are not here anymore, and I mean, at a young age.
Yeah.
Before they even hit 55, both of them. Aaliyah died young, and she died like 20 years later. But I'm just saying, like, man. And it's to me, it was like kind of eerie, but it was sad at the same time. Because Ananda Lewis was in my age group. I'm 53, she's 52. We basically the same generation, and man, a lot of people checking up out of here though in their 50s and stuff, man. That's why you gotta take care of not with her, but because with cancer, man, you could be the healthiest person in the world and get that shit, man. But I'm just saying, it's important to take care of your health, bro. You know, and me being a diabetic and stuff, you gotta watch yourself and what you do, bro. It's sad, man. To see somebody so full of life and just a great personality, and everybody you couldn't find a person to say a bad word about her anywhere.
Yeah.
Fans to co-hosts to people in the industry. She was, as you would say, she was that girl. You know what I mean? She was that dope, man, as a human being. And of course, man, we want to say our prayers, condolences, to Ananda Lewis, man. Definitely an icon, man. You're definitely gonna be sorely missed. And the last one, bro, of course, we lost one of the most influential music people of all time around the same time period. I think he might have been a little bit before, but Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone, man, look, there might not have been a Prince without Sly Stone, bruh. And there might not have been a Parliament Funkadelic without Sly Stone. This is the influence this man had on the music industry. Now, Will, I don't know how familiar you are with Sly and his music, but I don't know, what I'm saying? I'm sure you probably know a couple tunes and stuff, but what'd you think about Sly and us losing an icon like Sly?
I mean, of course, I was familiar, with the name and like, the group and everything. But like I really wasn't as like, tapped in as I probably could have been. But I know it was like
Mhm.
a major loss, man. Just looking and seeing, the amount of years, that his career stretched and, all the things that, he was able to accomplish, as like really like kind of a forefather in a sense, like you were saying. It's amazing, man. And you know, I feel like now you don't really see it as much. So I really have like a great appreciation for people that like really, really master, like playing like different instruments, man. Like, it's like, bro, it's like the coolest shit in the world, like,
Bruh, that's what I keep trying to say, man. These people talk about these groups doing this and that, man. They're not real musicians, bruh. I mean, yes, singers are singers. But bruh, Sly and the Family Stone were real musicians. And if you don't believe they are, look at some of your famous hip hop samples. They come from Sly and the Family Stone. Like you hear a lot of like, oh shit, that's Sly. You know what I mean? Like when you hear it and stuff. I mean, just man, look, Sly was that dude, man. You
Yeah.
know, of course, he battled drugs for years, and a lot of people said, man, they surprised he lasted this long at 82. You know, people thought Sly was going to die years ago. You know, but he lived a full life, man. You know, and he finally got clean off the drugs and everything. And you know that derailed his career too, because who knows what kind of more greatness we would see from Sly if he didn't have his demons, you know, battling, you know, substance abuse and stuff. You know, and of course, you know, Drake's uncle was a part of the group, Larry Graham. He was a part of the man. Yo, Will, I'll tell you something, bro. I'm gonna do it. If I don't do it tonight, I'll do it by the end of the week. I'm gonna send you this song that Sly had back in the day, and mind you, this is in the title of the song is very controversial. It was called "Don't Call Me Nigger Whitey, Don't Call Me Whitey Nigger." Yo, let me tell you something, bro. That song was amazing. When you hear Larry Graham on that bass guitar, he made that shit actually talk. Like,
Mm.
I mean, like it's the song is amazing. But Sly had so many hits, man. Family Affair, Hot Fun in the Summertime. Thank you for letting me be myself again. You can make it if you try, man. Look, man, we could go on Underdog. We could just go on. I'm gonna tell you right now. I listened when the day after Sly died. I was at work, man, and I listened to Sly, the Central Sly album. It was 30 cuts on there. I didn't skip not one.
That says a
I didn't
lot.
skip. I didn't skip not one song on that thing, man. That's how fire that thing was, man. And that's how great, you know what I mean, Sly was, bruh. You know, so I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you a slew of Sly songs, man. Hear the song "You Got Me Smiling Again," man. And you could tell, man, that his earlier work compared to his later work, you could tell the drugs were kind of kicking in. Like when you hear that song, "If You Want Me to Stay," you could tell, man, like Sly's music was a little more darker, it seemed like.
Hmm.
I mean, he even had a lyric on there. He's like, "When you know you're number two, number one will always be number one." I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? That's probably some of the drugs talking in when he recorded the song, man. But you know that's a classic song too, man. You know, I mean, Sly had so many hits, man. That Sly was a bad man, bro. Definitely one of the most influential groups and musicians. They were ahead of their time because you know they were interracial too, especially back in that era. Black groups had black groups. Sly had like two white dudes in his group.
Hmm.
You know, so I mean, you know, he's definitely going to be missed, man. I mean, he lived a full life, but Sly was that dude, man. You know, and you know, shouts to the Sly and the Family Stone iconic group, one of the best groups that we've seen in music history, man. You all's Marcus made. Your Marcus made. I think he passed, and I think the trumpet player they had, Cynthia, she was a trumpet player, man. I think she passed away. And he had his sister Rose was in the group. His other brother Freddie, man, Sly and the Family Stone was that group, bruh. They were that group. Trust me. And for the final topic of the show, me and Will got to talk about something, man. That's been going on in the hip hop world. Uh, Jim Jones and Nas. Let me say this first off. Let me say this. Dipset and Jim Jones definitely made their mark in hip hop. All right, let's start with that. Definitely made. I mean, you know, they're etched in stone in hip hop history. You know, and I'm gonna tell you right now, that production they had for some of their shit, God, hey man, them
Hmm.
beats they had, woo. But look, like I said, Jim Jones and the Dipset are definitely up there. I mean, you know, they're legends in the hip hop game. But let's understand something, bro. Let's understand something. Fucking Nas is the greatest hit. He's arguably the greatest hip hop artist of all time. Arguably, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, I hear Jim Jones. It's good to have confidence in yourself. But there's levels to this shit, man. There's levels to this shit, especially with Nas, man. I mean, Nas has some of the most memorable hip hop lines, hip hop songs in history. That's what we talking about here. I'll go more into detail eventually, but Will, what did you feel about it, bruh?
So I'll start by saying that I agree with you. It's true. Like you should have confidence in yourself. As the old saying, like if you're not your biggest cheerleader, who is, and all of that. But you also have to be realistic. Um, I would say, as somebody who definitely listens to Jim Jones, it's not close, man. Like it's just not close. Like
No, it ain't
he,
close.
he's part of an iconic movement, and that has some iconic moments. And like he has a couple hits as a solo act. Now like I was telling you off the air, Jim improved a lot. Like his solo work, his writing, everything like that. He improved a whole lot in the latter stages of his career as a rapper. But Nas has just always been that dude, man. Like always, like like sometimes we would be messing around on the show with JJ and just talk about different topics. You're like, oh, who's your top five? Look, I don't always know, man. The list changes, but I know that Nas is always right there at the top. You
Nas
know,
is always at the top.
it's something different, man. Like to come out as a teenager, and still at 50 be at the peak of your powers, as a lyricist. You know, this is the type of shit that you see once in a lifetime, man.
Nas might be. I have to say, Cool G Rap is up there. Biggie is up there. Slick Rick is up there. But Nas might be the best storyteller of all time. Even about that as well in hip hop history. Because when when he raps, you see the picture. So especially his earlier work, like when it
Mm.
was written and Illmatic,
Yeah.
he 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 basically painted a picture that you can see vividly.
I mean, bro, he rapped from the perspective of a gun. Like, you know what I
That
mean?
shit was great. Yo, bruh, let me tell you something. That shit first came out, I was like, what the hell? Like, yo, this shit and the shit he had rewind on
Yep.
Stillmatic, he
Yep.
rewind backward. I mean, come on,
Mhm.
man. Nas is that dude, bruh.
Yeah, bro.
Nas,
Like you said, it's levels, man. Like it's levels.
there's levels to this. There's let me tell you something. I'll never forget that time back in the day when the second album, it was written, came out. And my boy Greg, Nature Boy, we call him. We was all in the car. We were on our way to this club in Long Island called Jam Rock. This is like in '96. Jam Rock. This is when it was written, came out. And we listened to that album on because I was up in North Jersey. Now I didn't live there, but for that weekend I was up there staying up in North Jersey with my boy Mike because he went to William Patterson up in Patterson. We all linked up, but we all went to at the Long Island this club called Jam Rock. But yo, let me tell you something, bruh. When we played the whole album up there, bruh, like you just saw the picture of New York City, like going through New York City, like the album matched the city like perfect.
Hmm.
The songs on there perfect. It was like, damn, you can visualize it. And I didn't, and, I normally know geography and shit. I had no idea that New York City sat on the ocean like that. Because we went over to Verrazano, and I forget what expressway that is. It might have been the Long Island Expressway, one of them expressways. And the ocean was to the right, the highway's here, and the projects are over there.
Hmm.
Like, what in New York City? Come on the damn ocean.
Yep.
And you should remember Coney Island's on the ocean. So but it was just crazy though. Like this album is playing, and you can see New York City vividly through when we were driving. Like it matched where we were driving through. It was just crazy, man. It was written. I mean, this mug dropped albums too. I mean, Stillmatic, Illmatic. It was written. Some people didn't like some albums and stuff. The Lost Tapes was crazy. I don't know what the hell the record labels were thinking about not putting some of them songs on there, because if those songs, most of those songs were supposed to go on the I Am album. If those songs would have went on an I Am album, some of them songs like Blaze the 50, Do Rags, No
Hmm.
Ideas Original, them songs that were on there, if those songs were on I Am, bruh, let me tell you something right now. That album might have been as good or even better than Illmatic. I'm
Yeah,
going on a limb and say that.
no, you're right. You're having a totally different discussion at that point, than the way
Yeah.
those albums were received.
Yeah, man. I mean, Nas, man. I mean, I mean, look, he can spit any way you want. You want the consciousness, he'll spit that shit for you. You want to talk about flossing and shit, he'll spit that for you. You want to talk about hood stories, he spits that for you. He has so many topics that he could just spit over, man, and just paint a picture for you that you can see. Man, Nas
So
is Nas
different,
is
different
phenomenal,
topics,
bro.
different subject matter, different flows, literally whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, he even had a song Black Girl Lost. You ever hear that
Yep.
song, man? It's like,
Mhm.
man, second childhood. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Man, it's
Then he dropped this grown man album, Life is Good, talking about divorce and all type of shit.
yeah. Talked about him and Khalees. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how Nas gave up Khalees like that, bro. I don't know how he gave her up like that, bro. Man, Khalees, man. I don't know how he gave her up, bro. Like, yo. but yeah, that album. but but nah, and also he even had the song with Amy Winehouse on there. That was a
Yep,
fire song.
it was, bro.
Life is Good was a good album, bro. The people didn't appreciate the Queen story.
Bro, I love that album, bro.
Oh, I love that album too. The
Yeah.
song "Stay," that joy was deep, especially he's talking about the last part when he was talking about the dude that he hates. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But he
Yep, the
still wants them to be
sampling.
alive.
Yep.
That
Mm-hmm.
shit was crazy. I would say the ones who, if I had to go with the top 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 ones that had consistent albums in hip hop history, it would be Nas, Outkast,
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z. Jay had Discovery. You look, man. We know
Yep.
KRS-One, and I'm gonna tell you another person that people sleep on too, as far as albums. Common. People,
Yeah.
Scarface too, definitely, but Common
And
too, man.
Common is
Common,
incredibly consistent.
incredibly consistent, man. Incredibly consistent. So when you talk about that, man, I mean, man, boy, Jones, like I said, his marks in history, bro. But you talking about GOAT status here, brother.
Yeah, it's
You
different.
talking about
You know him for do rags and belt buckles. He known for iconic albums. It's different.
even oh shit. Nas even had a song called Do Rags too.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, man. Of course, man, like you said, man, Dipset, they're I mean, shit, man. They had some iconic songs too.
They did
So
for sure.
and I like to see, you know, Cam and Jim to squash whatever, what I mean, little beef they got going on, man, because Dipset held it down for a minute, bro.
Yeah, they need to bury the BS, man. Get back in the booth, man. Like
You too
Cam,
old.
well, Cam when he wants to, he can still rap. Be rapping on it is what it is. Jim still rapping.
Cam
Maybe
cracks me up though, man. Sometimes with his subject matter, and yo, him and Mace, man, they shows doing all right, bro. You know what I mean? They know they shit. Cameron was a legitimate basketball player, bro.
oh yeah, he was hooping it and why?
he, he was hooping. He put up some stats the other day where he had like, what was it, like 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 15 assists.
Yep.
They some numbers that you know what you call it.
Yeah, he was one of the best point guards in the city.
Yeah, I wonder why he didn't go D1 though. You know what I mean? That's the one thing I wonder about.
I mean, how much was he going to class? You know, man, niggas like that, bro. They, he
Yeah, but
trying to
hey,
get
he made the right
fast,
choice.
fast.
Even they said what you call could hoop too. Will even Dave East could hoop.
Oh yeah, Dave East played D1. I forget what
Yeah,
school
he
he went
played
to.
D1.
He played
Yeah,
D1. He got kicked out for moving product or whatever.
yeah, but I mean, you know what? That's one thing I would like to see is New York City basketball come back. Like, and players stay in the city and stuff. Because they haven't had an iconic player out of New York in a long time, bruh.
Yeah, I'll be
Like,
honest with you, bro. I don't know that's coming back
I don't think it's
because
coming back neither. I don't.
because
I,
realistically that's an epidemic. That's a countrywide epidemic. It's not just New York, but I feel like New York has felt it the most because, for example, like California has so many of the schools in California still. So technically, they
yeah.
don't leave the state. They might leave their city, but not the state. But yeah, they leave New York with the quickness, man.
Philly, Philly is kind of funny
Yeah,
because a lot of players stay in Philly, but some of them have gone away too. In the Philly area. But I would say Philly's had more iconic players in the last 25, 30 years than New York's had. I mean, shit, you can just say Kobe alone.
yeah.
All you got to do is say Kobe. I'm talking about players on that level. Like, New York used to turn them out all the time. I mean, damn, man. I mean, they had Connie Hawkins, they had Doc,
I
they
mean,
had Kareem. I mean, shit.
I feel
I
like the
mean,
last the last players that really did what they were expected to do, like you got to go back a ways, like Marbury,
Marbury, yep.
Odom, Elton Brand, you know, because New York has had some hyped players. You know what? I take that back. There's a more recent one, but we kind of we gloss over them, and Kemba Walker is the last one.
Kemba Walker was good, man. Kemba
Yeah,
Walker
Kemba
was a
Walker
very
is the
good
last.
player.
He's the last one. But
Lance Stevenson was supposed to be that one too. He had a good career, but
yeah,
when I saw Lance Stevenson, bro, in high school, I thought he was going to be a superstar. I mean, he had a great career. Of course, you make the
mhm.
NBA, you have a great career, but now I'm talking about he was a solid player. But I thought Lance Stevenson had superstar potential.
No, I agree with you. And that's why I didn't name Lance. Like good career, like Lance. But like when you saw Lance in high school, you almost thought Lance was going to be on some other like some next level stuff. You know.
Yeah,
Um. But yeah, he still had a good career, man.
good career.
You know. But like you said, a lot of guys, man, they go to prep schools, they leave. They leave the area. Um. Shit, some of them go right across the bridge to New Jersey to go to school.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh, oh yeah.
they got a
Oh
kid
yeah.
now. They got a kid now, but he playing in New Jersey, playing at Blair Academy. The Ron Rippey. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a beast, but he playing in New Jersey.
I heard he's a top 5 player of the country right now, right?
Yeah, he's tough, bro. Then they
I
got
heard.
Dylan Mingo's tough too. Middle
Oh,
guard.
I heard they were the two best players at the NBA PA top 100 camp.
Yeah, bro. Those kids are special.
Yeah, they're both point guards.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think what you call got the most, but got a lot of potential too, though, man. The kid Baba, man,
Oh, from Maryland. Yeah.
bro, Baba is a KD clone, bro. He's just so smooth with it, bro.
Listen, bro. He's I don't want to put too much on him because we know how that goes for kids like Imani Bates and some of the other kids, man.
Yeah, man.
Baba is. I'm not going, do any comparisons, but at his young age, like, man, that kid can put that ball in that basket, man. Oh my goodness, like he is tough. I gotta look up. It was rumors he was going to transfer. Well, I hope he didn't. I need to look it up because he's supposed to be playing. I know the school he went to is right in Silver Spring. That's not too far from here.
Yeah, he's still there. I think he's still there. Why? Where'd you hear he was transferring to?
It was like a rumor. It was like to another school in Maryland or something like that. But yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad he stayed though. You know, man, like so many kids these days they get caught up, man. It's like
Yeah,
you run your own race, you know what I'm saying? Like and in the long run, like long term, your career and you will be better off for it.
yeah, man. I I like the school he's at, man. But that kid could shoot though, man. He's like 6'11", but he can shoot the ball after 30 feet. I mean, he's Kevin. He's a Kevin Durant. Like you just talked about Imani Bates. Let me tell you something. The two best young players I've seen in my lifetime is about freshmen, DeJuan Wagner and Imani Bates. There was no way in the world you were not going to tell me that Imani Bates was going to be a superstar. When I saw him, of course, I watched YouTube, you know what I mean, to see it. But when I saw him as a freshman and as an eighth grader, he was the best young player I ever saw, I thought, at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Scoring, it's like, man, this kid is the next face of the NBA. I mean, he made the NBA, but I think it's a number of factors. He I think maybe he should stay another year in Memphis, but I don't know, man. He's in the league, so he did something right. You know what I mean? He is living his dream in the NBA. That's why I always say he made it. So you know, can't call him a buster or anything, man. But Imani Bates was special, bro. Especially when he was young. You couldn't tell me he was going to be the next KD. You couldn't tell me that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Like he was scoring from really four levels because he was shooting that shit from deep, even in high school.
From deep.
You
And
know.
he and Will, he's one of the biggest shit talkers I ever seen too. It's like every
Yeah,
play, hey boy,
for
he was
sure.
in somebody's face, bro.
Bro, for sure, he would be letting you hear it.
He be letting you hear it. Boy, he be getting them dudes' heads, boy. He be on them. Yeah, Monty Bates was nice though, man. He gave me like 30 a game as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Yeah.
won high school player of the year his sophomore year. I thought he was gonna be the only one to win it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
But things happen different, and that's where we at. But yeah, brother, it was a good show. Another dope show as usual again.
Oh, for
So
sure, bro. Listen,
yeah,
man. Like we had so many things, man, to talk about, man. And it was like, man, the finals is over now. About to be the
yeah,
draft, bro. I couldn't wait, man. And then, shit, by the next time we do a show, we gonna get your reactions, on what the Sixers move ended up being, man. I'm real interested to see,
yeah.
man.
And you know what year this is. You know what part of this year this is for me now too. That
Mm-hmm.
track season, bro. We gotta get the guests lined up again. Definitely gotta get Coach Tate back, man.
Oh,
He was a
absolutely.
he was a treasure on there. Oh, speaking of track and field, let me just say this, man. Shout outs to the young lady that runs for Eastern High School in Voorhees, New Jersey, named Natalie Dunn. Um, she's a short little girl, 5'4", 5'5". Will. She ran the hurdles 55.9 seconds, which is the 10th fastest time ever in high school history. She comes back the next day, runs a 51:14, which is the 7th fastest time ever in high school history, and smashed Sydney McLaughlin's New Jersey state record.
Oh
Then
man.
she comes back on Sunday, runs 800 meters in 2 minutes for the 5th fastest time in high school history. This might have been the greatest triple we've ever seen, and it may be the greatest feat we've seen in New Jersey high school history. When
Man.
she did at New Balance over in Philly on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I know that girl got to be worn out, bro. I know she has to be worn out
Mm-hmm. I'm
after running
sure.
them 3 races, man.
Man, I gotta start following her career now.
And
That's
she's
amazing.
only she's only a junior.
Man,
And there's a young lady that runs it at Pet Sawkins, Siani Wynn. She she um she runs the 200. She won. No, I'm sorry, the 100 meters. She won the 100 meter national 100 meters. She went 11.3. So she ran well. And also we had. I'm just going to go over a little bit of stuff. Then we had the Nike Nationals, which was dubbed the fastest high school race ever between Maurice Gleaton, the kid Williams from Duncanville in Texas, and Tate Taylor from Texas. And Tate Taylor wound up edging out Maurice Gleaton by 1/100th of a second. Now here's a story about Maurice Gleaton. His dad was a member of the franchise was it the franchise boys that come out of
the rap
Atlanta?
group? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's his dad.
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. His dad was a member of the franchise boys. Yeah, yeah. So he ran well, and of course, Quincy ran at New Balance on Saturday and Sunday. We ran the 400 meters. He had a comfortable win. He ran 45. Was it 35, 45, 4. And then he ran a 45, 4 anchor stuff. But he's back. Like he cleaned his form up a little bit. He got bigger too. He
Okay.
got a little more muscular. It looks like too. Yeah. So that's about it for the track and field. And covering the sports, man. But Will, once again, brother, thank you again, man. Another dope show that we had. Of course, man, we got the highest, I guess we talk about high school basketball too. Who's the top player in 2026? Right now, Tyron Stokes is the number one, is number one. But it looks like he might have some company. The kid from Long Island Luther, what's his name? Mingo, right?
Yeah, Mingo. Problem.
Man, Mango is on his heels, bruh. He's nipping on his heels. So and of course we got the California ones, McCory and Christian Collins and what's the other kid, Jason Crow. They
Mm-hmm.
all there. Cali is active, bruh. They active. They got the best talent in the nation. So of course we got that coming up. We'll probably have an update probably sometime in August. Got to get Pablo back on, to talk about that and what he saw this summer. So, but yeah, man, that covers the show. And let me give a shout out, of course, to my co-host, as we call him, the general of the show. He's a point guard, the superb point guard, makes all this stuff happen, just the Magic Johnson type stuff. Of course, Will, man, thank you, brother. What I mean, for keeping the show going and for keeping us going, brother.
Oh yeah, we locked in, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So shouts to you. Shouts to our listeners who out there. And yeah, at some point this summer, get ready for JJ. JJ will be on at some point. He already said he got 77 days of freedom. So he'll be he'll be back on here soon. He'll be back on here soon with us, man. Shouts to JJ, man. But also shouts, of course, like I said, to our loyal followers and listeners. On behalf of me and Will, we say, hey, beat this heat, y'all, and stay inside and keep cool. And one last thing, man. Let's have some world peace, please, and let us all live together in some peacefulness here. Nobody wants a war, man. Nobody wants any of this craziness that we're seeing on here in around the world from some crazy nut ass people. I'll just leave it at that, bro. Because we can go into a whole other spectrum of this, but these crazy ass nut ass people from all over the world trying to destroy this world, bro. We want everybody. I think I speak on behalf of everybody in the world. All we want is peace, peace, and live a pretty good life. That's all we want. So on behalf of me and Will, we say peace, and we'll see you all in the next episode.
Peace.